Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a story time about just how like my whole pregnancy went, like my whole pregnancy experience. Um, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So let's get started. So let's see, it was around April of 2018 when I found out I was pregnant with Elazar. I don't remember the exact date that I remember like finding out. I just remember that day that I found out I was working. And I just felt really, I guess I can't say I felt weird, but I just seen myself gaining some weight. I'm not gonna say it was a lot because it wasn't. It was like a little bit of weight, and I noticed myself gaining weight. But nothing was off. Like I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have none of that until further ahead. So then when I started thinking about it, I told my sister-in-law, like, hey, can you bring me a pregnancy test, like, to my work? I know that's weird, but I said, can you bring me a pregnancy test? Like, if I'm not pregnant, then I have to go to the gym because I'm gaining some weight and I didn't like how it looked on me. So then she brought me the pregnancy test. I took it and then I put it upside down. That way I wouldn't be able to see the results right away. So then I grabbed it, I took it, and then I looked at it and it came out positive. I was shocked. I was in shock. I didn't I didn't know what to think. Like, we were trying to have a baby. Keep in mind, we were trying to have a baby at this time. But at this point, I kind of just gave up because we tried so much, and it, like, every time I took a pregnancy test, it came out negative. So at this point, we had like stopped trying. We weren't trying anymore. We were just said, just give it a break. We can keep trying further on. And then, well, I took it. It came out positive. I was in shock. Like, I didn't even know what to think. I didn't know what to say. I remember telling one of my friends there at work, like, I took a pregnancy test and it came out positive. Like, I was happy because we were trying, like I said, to get pregnant. So then that whole day I just kept on, like, I just went on with my day. I I texted my sister-in-law, like, hey, like, it came out positive. She was really happy, and she actually asked me, she's like, you don't seem so happy. And I told her, I was like, it's not that I'm not happy, it's just I'm in shock, like, at this point we had given up trying to have a baby, and then out of nowhere, like, boom, I'm pregnant. I was just happy. I just had mixed emotions, I guess I can say. And then that same day, I remember my boyfriend, he would work in the afternoon. He would go in 4 to 11, and I would go in 6:30 in the morning to 4. So I didn't see him all day, and he didn't see me all day. The only time I got to see him was in the mornings when I went to work, and at night when he got off of work. I would take him lunch, but sometimes I wouldn't stay. So then that day I went to go buy another pregnancy test after work, and I took it. It came out positive. Like, I already knew it was going to come out positive. I went to Walmart because the first one I told her, I was like, just go get one from the dollar store. Like, they're all the same. It was a pink little pregnancy test. They both were positive. So then I was thinking of cute ways of telling him, like, that I was pregnant. So then I went to the dollar store and I got this brown little box. I bought this brown little box. I didn't buy it, they gave it to me. And inside of that box, I put fake grass from Easter, like when kids go Easter hunting and you put the little grass in their box. Well, I bought some of that, but it was white. And I put it all in the little box. And I put the 2 pregnancy tests. And I bought 2 pairs of little socks. It was a pink one and a blue one. And I put them in there as well. And I wrote this little poem. I believe it said, roses are red, violets are blue. Inside of me beats 2 hearts for you. So I meant like my heart and the baby's heart. And well, we went to go take it. It was lunchtime for him, so we went, and it was my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and I guess he found it like weird, like, like, why are they with you? Like, they would never go with me unless I sent them to go take him lunch. So then it was me driving. It was my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law in the back. So then he was coming, and oh, I got so nervous as soon as I seen him. I was like, I wasn't panicking, but I was like super nervous. I was anxious. So then I had the box. No, my sister-in-law had the box, I think. And he got in and he was just staring at us like, what, like what? And I told him not to make it obvious, but I mean, it was kind of hard not to. So then she gave him the box and I was like, open it. He did not want to open it. And then I was like, just open the box. And I was getting frustrated at this point because he did not want to open the box. And I was like, just open the box, Gavino, open it. So then he opened it slowly. And as soon as he opened it, my sister-in-law started crying. I was like, are you serious? I was like, not even I cried. And then I turn around and look at my brother-in-law, and he's crying as well. He's like turning his face so I won't see him, but I like see you. And they were both crying, and at this point he knew. Like, I think they kind of gave it up. He knew. He lifted up the little card that I had in there. He saw the pregnancy test. He didn't have much of a reaction either. I think he was just in shock as well, like I was. I have a video, actually. I recorded it, and I'll put the clip in here so you guys can see it. And I have pictures, and he was just happy. He was really happy when I told him. After that, we posted it on Facebook, like we're expecting a baby. And so then at this point, we had already posted it on Facebook, but I hadn't told my mother-in-law yet. I hadn't told her, and I don't think I even told my mom. I just posted it on there so they could see it. My mother-in-law does not have Facebook, so she's not that type of person like get on, because she doesn't have any type of social media. She doesn't have none of that. She's like really old school, so she doesn't use none of that. So then I was thinking of a way to tell her. So then the next day, I went to work, and I got on the computer, and I was like looking at cute ways, to tell her. So then I printed this one picture with the little bird on it, and I don't remember. I think the little bird was just carrying a little card that had a heart on it. So then I put that on a piece of paper. I glued it, and like it was blue and then pink and then the note on there with the little bird. And then in Spanish it said, what did it say? It went something about along the lines like, you're gonna be a grandma. So then she read it and she got really happy. She hugged me, and I think she kind of like tried not to cry, but she kind of wanted to cry. But she held it in really good. So then after that, we had to tell his dad. Now his dad is really tall and really scary. So then I told him, like, you have to tell your dad. He's like, no, we have to tell my dad. I was like, no, you're going to tell your dad. And this day, I think this day was his graduation. He graduated from college this day, the day that we decided to tell his dad. So everyone in the house knew that I was pregnant but his dad. And I'm terrified of his dad. I'm scared of his dad. We've been together for 4 years. Until this day, I can't even have like a conversation with his dad with being awkward, because he's just scary to me. He's a scary looking guy. He's super nice, but he's scary. So then Gavino was trying to tell him and he didn't know how to tell him. So then I was like, tell him. But Gavino wanted me to go in the room with him, and I did not want to go in the room with him to tell him, like, we're pregnant. So then I told him, like, you go in there, you tell him. And there's like, so it's like, it was our room right here, and then if you go across the hallway, it was his room. So I think his dad was like listening to everything, like, you tell him, or like, we both have to go in there. So then Gavino opened the curtain, and he told him, like, hey, like, in Spanish, le dijo, like, te tengo que decir algo. And his dad was like, ¿qué? And then he's like, Mari está embarazada. And then he looked at Gavino, and he just kind of like, I wasn't in there. I was looking at him, but like I wasn't in there. So then he he just kind of looked at Gavino and smiled, and he was just like, no, he's like, pues está bien, you guys are ya están old enough, you know, to make your own decisions, like, está bien. So then after that, and like, his dad isn't the type of person to like ever give you like a really big reaction, like neither is Gavino. So both of them had like the same reaction. I wasn't expecting that big of a reaction from him either. So then after that, I'm pretty sure he had like a talk with Gavino alone, like somewhere else, because that's what he does, you know, like he'll pull them to a side and have a conversation with them. And we hadn't gone to the doctors then. We had not gone to the doctors, and I know it's like we shouldn't have even told anyone then because it's super risky and you never know what can happen. But I was just like, I just posted it. I told everyone that I needed to tell, and so then we went to our first appointment. I was 6 weeks when we went, and the baby was still too small at this point for them to like tell me like do an ultrasound and see him. He was too little. So they put like something in vaginal, like they put this big old long thing, and it kind of hurt, but it kind of didn't. Like it was just uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable feeling. So then we saw him, and he was just a tiny little, like, he was a tiny little bean. He was small as can be. He was so little. So then we went to that appointment. We got ultrasound pictures. I'll put those in as well. So then we got the first pictures. We were like, at this point, like, he was so little, but we were just so happy. We were so in love with him already. And so then we had more appointments, and at this point, Gavino went to the first appointment, and I think he went to the first two, to the other 2 appointments, and then after this, he had left to Colorado to go work. He had left, and he wasn't there. He would go on the weekends, but he wasn't there during the week, so he couldn't go to the appointments. And well, after that, we went, it was like 4 months passed. And like the first 3 months, sorry, I'm like skipping. The first 3 months, I had really bad morning sickness. It wasn't even morning sickness. It was just like throughout the whole day. And the only thing that I could keep down for some reason, it was cereal and pickles. Then after that, time passes by. At this point, I believe I'm 5 to 6 months. We went to the ultrasound where they tell us if it's a boy or a girl. So then we had already planned a gender reveal party. We had already done all of that. So it was me, Gavino, and Brenda, my sister-in-law. Her name's Brenda, by the way. She was with us, and we told the doctor, like, we're gonna have a gender reveal, so like I don't want to know the gender yet. She showed us everything, like his little arms, his legs, his heartbeat. That day when I heard his heartbeat, I got so teary-eyed because it wasn't the first time I heard it, but just listening to his heartbeat and knowing he was okay and he was growing just fine, I just got really, really like emotional. And I know Gavino did too, because I turned around and looked at him, but he was just like trying to not show like he was emotional. And my sister-in-law, she is the biggest crybaby there is when it comes to anything. So she was over there like already like getting ready to cry and stuff. She was just, you know, and she's like, I'm gonna turn it off now because we're gonna look at the gender. She's like, and I know you don't want to see it. So then she turned it off, and the computer thing was over here, so I wasn't trying to look that way. I was just looking at Gavino, and we were both kind of like crying. We were just like teary-eyed, and Brenda was looking at the computer. So then as soon as I saw her face, like I knew she knew, like she had already seen on there what it was. And she just started, like, she wasn't crying, but like tears were running down her face, and she was just so happy when we got out of there. So then we went on a Thursday. That Saturday was the gender reveal. So then I told everyone, like, hey, you know, like, we're gonna have a gender reveal, like, go, you know, just so we can find out. It was just something small, like friends and family. My sister-in-law calls me. She's like, hey, she's like, there's people here already throwing a party. And I was pregnant, and I was like, so then tell them to leave. Like, I rented the park the whole day for me and our gender reveal, so tell them to leave. And I could not find the piece of paper because the lady, when we rented it, told me, keep the piece of paper in case there's people there, so you can show them that you already paid for the day. So then we ended up just letting them stay there because I felt bad. It was a little kid. It was his like first year birthday, and so then they just stayed there. And so then everything was getting set up. Everything was set up. A friend of ours got there, and I love her, and her two little girls are so cute. It's like, and she got there, and we were setting everything up, and then she's like, I think it's gonna be a girl. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I think it's gonna be a girl too, but I guess we'll see. Everyone started getting there. So then she had to leave early. And she told me, she's like, I was right. And then at this point, I was like, you pretty much just told me what it was, because we both thought it was girls, and now you just told me it was a girl, and I wasn't even surprised at this point. I was kind of like annoyed, and I was like, wow. I was like, she pretty much just told me what it was, that it was a girl. So then time goes by, and then it's time to pop the balloon. To the count of 3, we're all gonna pop the balloon, and all of you guys are gonna pop the poppers as well. So then we counted to 3, and we popped it, and blue came out. I was expecting pink, so I was in shock. I was like, what the heck? Like, I thought it was a girl. Like, she told me it was a girl. Like, I knew it was a girl. Like, in my mind, I was like, it's a girl. I was like, where is the pink confetti at? Like, where is it? And then, no, Gavino was super, super happy. He was like, super happy. I was just in shock. Everyone was super happy. My brother was so happy. He said, actually, funny story while we're at this, I gave my niece Eliana, I gave her a little popper as well. I was like, don't pop it yet. And I don't know why I gave the kids one. She thinks I don't know, but I know now. I know your little secret, because Ellie had popped it. So then he's over here telling me that they're trying to cover it like with dirt and trying to pick it up, that way I wouldn't see it. But I was over there like on the other side of where they were, so I couldn't see anything. So it wasn't even a surprise to them, sadly.
Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And so then after that, Gavino continued to like go work out of town and stuff, and everything was going good until I think I hit 7 and 8 months that I started getting heartburn. And then one night I experienced this one pain, and it seemed like heartburn, but it wasn't. It was something worse. So then I went to the ER, like, I'm having really bad pain, and like I can't take it, like. So then they checked me out, and they told me like, oh, like nothing seems to be wrong. I don't know how they didn't find it, but nothing seems to be wrong. So then they sent me home. They told me to schedule an appointment with my doctor, with my baby's doctor. And well, I scheduled an appointment with him. He wasn't available, but the midwife was. So then I took it with her, because I was like, I need to get it figured out. Like, I need to know what's wrong with me, because it was really bad pain that I was having. So then they drew blood and everything. I left. The next day, they scheduled me an appointment so they could do like an ultrasound to see what was going on. And this lady, the way she looked at me, I was like, I knew something was wrong, because like, what's going on? Like, just tell me. So then at this point, my phone kept going off, and they kept calling and calling and calling, and I didn't know who it was, because I couldn't answer. So I was like, it's fine. I was like, just leave it. And so then they called the nurse, and they were like, I have a call for Mary. So then I took it, and they were like, Mary, they were like, we need you to go to the ER immediately. They were like, because with the blood that we drew, we saw that you have, well, like, we found out you have stones in your gallbladder. And I was like, great. I was like, this is the only thing that I needed. And before this, I was really scared, because my little brother at 14 years old got his gallbladder removed for the same reason. So then this just must happen when I was pregnant, of course, when you're craving everything, when you want everything. And I just had to get it when I was pregnant. So then I went to the hospital, and after this, it was just in and out from the hospital, because it would just kept hurting. They would send me home. I'd go back. They would send me home. And I think I was in and out for like a good 4 times from the hospital. So when I went, they already knew. They would just grab a wheelchair and take me upstairs. And I like, it sucks because this is not how I imagined my pregnancy to go. And after that, they just kept me in the hospital. And I was like really sad because I wanted to throw my baby shower. Like, we had already planned a baby shower and everything. And I told my doctor, like, is there any way I can, like, leave for a couple hours, you know, so I can throw my baby shower and come back? And they didn't let me, but they were so nice enough to let me throw my baby shower downstairs in one of their conference rooms. After that, well, at 36 weeks, the doctor decided to, well, you know, like, let's get this started. So then they took me into the labor room. They took me in there. At 7 in the morning, my doctor came in. He broke my water. And after that, it's like immediately, like, contractions started. Horrible. I think I lasted to, like, was it 3 centimeters? I think 3 centimeters, and I needed the epidural. I needed it because I was not going to tolerate this pain. It was, in my experience, it was horrible. I could not take it. So then I got the epidural, and everything went pretty good after that. I was dilating fine, and then the nurse was just coming in and out, obviously, to check how I was doing and everything. And I was at 7 centimeters. So then after 7 centimeters, I couldn't dilate anymore. Well, she said, after this, if you can't dilate anymore, we're going to do an emergency C-section. So then I was like, okay. I was like, I guess. And we waited and nothing. So then it was like around 8 something. And they took me. It was me, his aunt, and obviously Gavino. He was sitting next to me. Bless you, puppy. He was sitting next to me. And, well, I guess they started, and they told me, like, you're going to feel a lot of pressure down here. You're going to feel a lot of pressure. And, well, it was 8:30 when they pulled him out. You know, it was 8:30, and I just heard him cry, and like, they grabbed him and they showed him to me. Like, they showed him to me, and I looked at Gavino, and I was like, he looks just like you. And I, like, started crying because, like, it was just so emotional, and Gavino was, like, crying, and I was just so happy that I heard him, like, cry. But then after that, I remember they took him over, you know, because they were, like, cleaning him up and stuff, and Gavino was telling me, like, there's something wrong with him. Like I can see his ribs a lot, and he was having a hard time breathing, something with his oxygen. I mean, he was early, so. And after that, they, like, stitched me up, and they did everything they had to do. They took me back to the room, and they just told me to rest. They took care of him that first night, and they told me to rest. And around 5 in the morning, they got me up to walk and stuff, and I got to see him. He was in the NICU for a couple days. He was in there for like 28 days, only because he was so little. He weighed 414. So he was born on December 11, 2018. He is now about to be 5 months. Well, after that, that was it. We took him home. But yeah, that was my experience being pregnant. It wasn't the best, but I mean, it wasn't the worst. It could have been worse. But that's it for the story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications down below. Click on the little bell, that way you get notified every time I post a new video.